everybody. Welcome back to the Comedy Castle podcast. I'm your host, Joel Fregeman. Going to tell you what's going on this week at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, and it's really going to be what's going on this week, what's going on next week. Should be a show next week, but here's what's going on. Let's get into it right now, and then we'll explain. We got 2 interviews for you today, a bonus show for you, a little extra interview, and we'll explain why that is, too. But as you're listening to this, if it's Wednesday, August 6th, it's open mic night at 7:30 p.m. Come out. See a mixture of some professionals and some amateurs. They all do short sets at open mic night. It's a really good time. And then starting this Thursday, the 7th of August, Ashley Gavin comes into town for the usual 5 shows, 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, 7:15 and 9:45 Friday, 7 p.m. and 9:30 are your Saturday shows with Ashley Gavin. Ashley has a giant YouTube special that a lot of people saw. Her podcast, We're Having Gay Sex, is the name of that one. And she also does a lot of crowd work. And Ashley will be with us on this whole weekend. So that'll be fun. And we got a great Sunday show, too, with Cactus Tate, the 2-hit wonder tour. Cactus, again, very popular online. That show's at 7 p.m. on Sunday. Okay. So that's really this week in sort of a summary there. I don't have interviews with Ashley or Cactus Tate, but what I do have for you, 2 comedians who are making their Comedy Castle headlining debut, Ryan Brown and Camila Ballario, coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, graduates of my advanced comedy class many years ago, but they've been working hard. Ryan Brown, I call him the hardest working guy in Michigan comedy. He's always at a show. Sometimes it's 2 shows a night. Sometimes it's 3 shows a night. Ryan's unbelievable. The guy works so hard. He really, and when I taught Ryan, he was a guy. He worked hard. He was kind of funny. He was a young comic. Didn't do anything wrong, but it was young comic. Wasn't killing it. Young comedian. But that dude figured it out. I think he's a beast on the mic. He's a very nice guy. Got his opinions, which is cool. Get a little bit of edge with Ryan, which I like. He's a guy. He's a little competitive, and I like that. But we'll talk to Ryan here first, and then Camila Ballario. Let's just set up a little bit with Camila here, and then I'll just play these back to back. Maybe a little music in between, a little music here and there. But Camila is a performer who was sort of known, made her name on the scene, playing the guitar and singing songs. She has a background in classical music, beautiful voice, talented guitar player. Coming from me, an untalented guitar player, Camila's a very talented guitar player. And but always funny stuff. She used to do funny stuff about dating. Now she's a mom. She's got a husband. She's doing that whole adult thing and doing it great. And she's just been a hit everywhere. I mean, I suppose you say Ryan worked hard and learned his craft. Camila was really good from the get-go. I mean, she was a talent just coming out of the blocks. You looked at her, a pretty girl who could sing, play guitar. It was actually funny, and it was kind of like she's going to go far in this business. And she has, and there's further to go. I give her some ideas towards the end. I try to give a little management thing. That could always be insulting. Believe me, as I'm saying that stuff to Camila, I'm wondering, am I insulting her by saying you should be on morning radio? I don't know. You listen and tell me. I hope not. That was not my intention, because I think Camila's awesome. I think Ryan's awesome. I mean, it's Dream Cruise weekend next weekend, but man, we got great headliners. Tom McCarthy on Saturday night. So let's just get into these interviews right now. Let's listen to Mr. Ryan Brown, and then you'll hear Camila Ballario right after that. Here's Ryan Brown, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the other end of my line, we've got a man making his Comedy Castle headlining debut. Always an exciting time for a young comedian or a new comic. Hey, if you're a young comic, right, Ryan Brown?
Yeah, young in the game for sure.
Young in the game, but killing it in the game, I say.
Yeah, all right.
Do you feel like you're killing it?
I mean, I feel like I'm getting better. I don't know we'll see how many people show up to the show. Got to do it again after.
Yeah, well, that's true. But absolutely worked for it. And that's the thing I always say about you whenever your name comes up or people are discussing you or whatever. It's like, man, because I knew you way back,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, this guy's improved a lot.
Yeah.
Not that you were ever bad, but it was like, yeah.
That's what I tell everybody, because some people kind of shit on the whole idea of a comedy class, and it's like you can't learn how to be funny, but it is a lot of stuff that I think the class is like a shortcut, because it's stuff you learn doing comedy that you don't need a class for, but if you talk to somebody and they can kind of eliminate some of the bad things, like I met a bunch of people in the class that kind of just gave me tips and stuff, and I told people, like, if you got the money and you take a class, if you get one or two things out of the class, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's never I've never done anything that was like, oh, this was a complete waste of time. Like, at the very least, I'm gonna get a good story.
Yeah, well, you get a good story. Maybe you meet some people, but I mean, here's my two takeaways. Listen, if you're a young comedian and you're not gonna take the advanced comedy class, I'm gonna give you the two biggest things for free right now, and they're very easy things conceptually. And Ryan did both of these, but the one I saw for sure was one is you just do lots of shows. That's number one, and I know that's hard for people. They don't want to do shows when they could be doing something else, or they can't do the shows. But you got to do a lot of shows, and you did more shows than anybody. I always say, if anybody of my students did more shows than anybody, I think it was you.
Yeah, I would believe that.
I think it's you. And there's a Marcus O'Lind. I don't know if you know Marcus.
Oh, yeah. I know Marcus.
Marcus was another guy who was in the class, did okay, but saw him a few months later. It's just like you, killing it. And the other thing is to drop the jokes that don't work. That's hard for people to do, too.
Yep.
People love those jokes.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. Is the main two things I learned in your class was do 2 mics a week, is a solid baseline, and how to edit.
Yeah.
And it was like, because I remember, like, I had these long setups, and then once I started writing everything out, it was like, okay, if I get this far and there's no laughs, then I don't need all of this fluff at the beginning. Yeah. And then it's like, so, and then, then you find your voice and all that. But it's funny because when I took your class, it was like, oh, you had to take level 1 or have been doing comedy for a year.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been doing comedy. Well, it was like a calendar year.
Right.
But I had probably only done like 10 open mics.
Okay.
By the time I took, and I didn't take the first class because I was like, well, I'm not a beginner, so
right.
I'm not going to take it. And then you were like, the first day, he was like, well, 1 year is 100 mics. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how I do it, but everyone's different.
Right, it's an outline, but it's like, but I was like, oh, and then as soon as I started, and when I first started, I would have a notebook, I would have my set list, and then I would do a set, and then I would go back and listen to the set. And if they laughed, I put a plus sign next to it. And if they didn't laugh, I would put a minus sign. And then the minus sign either meant, get rid, cut it for now or edit it and then try it again at the next one. And so that's why it was like, I had a good 10 or 15 in like, a month or something.
Yeah.
And then it's just,
I think there's a race amongst new comedians that for, stage like minutes. Like, right. I got to get 20 so I can feature. I got to get 45 so I can headline. But you got to get 20 that's all really good. And you got to get 45 that's all really good. Before that's, even if they let you do it, it's not going to be any good. And so that's the thing where I always tell people like that the time will come. You will grow an act that is very solid and will be as long as you need it to be when the time comes.
Right.
Don't sweat that stuff. That's the last thing to worry about is how long you're doing. I always tell comedians, when I come to like Advanced Comedy Club, we got the showcase. I'm giving you 7 minutes. Well, I only got 5. We'll do that 5. That's perfect.
Yep.
What's the harm in doing 5 when I give you 7? We all go home 2 minutes early? Boo-hoo. It's not a thing. People so worried. Well, you got to do, if I don't do 7 and they're giving me 7, like the comedy club would be very happy for everybody to do less.
Yeah, it's like an inherent competition with comics, and it's like because you want to hit, because it feels like milestones, right? So it's like, okay, you get the host at a club, and then you get the feature at a club, and then you get the headline at a club. But it's not like nothing is linear, right? Like if you can sell tickets, you can headline tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and people don't understand that. People don't know, and then it's like you said, like, you might have 20 minutes, you might have 30 minutes, but is it, is part of that a 10-minute story that has one laugh at the end that maybe it hits, and sometimes it hits harder in certain places, or you need everything to go perfectly to, so I mean, I learned a lot of stuff, and then just listening to like comedy podcasts is where I learn a lot of stuff. It's just like, you got to try stuff in different areas. You got to be willing to go in the rooms and the places that scare you, and you got to be able to do the jokes. If you're talking about a group, you got to do those jokes in front of that group to know if those are good jokes, otherwise you just pandering to some group, and then you'll end up on, one of these TV stations where they just pay you to talk trash about the people that they already hate.
Yeah, it's good, man. But you did all that. That was always a thing I always loved about you, man. It's like you were out there doing all them shows, hustling, just constantly doing shows. You'd see you at the Comedy Castle open mic, and you'd be out the door after your set. Where you going? Got another set. Got another set coming up. Got to go.
Yeah, and especially because when I started, I was still married. And, my kids were like in middle school and stuff. So when I came out, it was like, okay, which days can I be out and stay out late and hit three or four mics, as opposed to just being out and doing one mic every day. And then who knows how long that's going to take, how far away is it, and all of that. But, I've driven to Grand Rapids to do, 6 minutes at an open mic out there and stuff like that. And then, everything comes with time and experience. You understand like which mics are worth it, to go late to and hang out with. And like I did the showcase mic in Ann Arbor last week. And like it's a lot of people that were there, and some people were like, man, I don't know anybody on this list, because they've been doing comedy for 10 years, and I was like, I know everybody on that list. I knew it was 18 names, and I knew all of them, because I'll overlap with people, because some people that are in Ann Arbor don't go to Lansing, don't come to Detroit unless they get booked on the show. But it's like, how you gonna get booked on the show if nobody ever sees you other than the place you are?
And the people putting the shows together are probably the young guys, not the old guys.
True.
So people want to open a room, and they go, "Who's funny, huh?" I worked with Ryan Brown last week. He'd be good.
Right.
Some guy sitting in his house waiting for the phone to ring. Yeah. He ain't going to get that gig. You're going to get it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's most of the stuff I do now, and it's a detriment to myself because I should be working more. Yeah. But you got to call and you got to remind people, or, here's my availability. So most of the stuff I do now is just, it's random people that I've worked with before. It's like, hey, are you booked this week? And if I'm not booked, then I almost always take the show, unless it's like one of these shows where it's like, it's $75, it's 8 hours away, no hotel. And I'm like, no, I'm booked that day. Call me with the next one.
Yeah, those things you turn down eventually. But you do them. I mean, I remember I think I just featured Ridley's, and I probably featured Joey's in Dearborn a couple times. And I sent out the tape from the Ridley set, and I got booked in Florida for 2 weeks, $75 a night. Nice. 75 a night, 8 shows over 2 weeks. And
and then how long ago was that?
2002, but
but that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying the rate is the same. So it was $2,000. It was $75 then, and it's $75 today.
Yeah, I don't know who. I don't know if them gigs are still around. There were some rough gigs, but it was like, I went to Florida. That drove to Florida. Did 2 weeks a gig. And so you got a hotel room 8 of the 14 nights you were in Florida. But them other 6 nights were on my dime.
Yeah.
to find a place to stay. And,
Yeah.
I did it. It was
Yeah.
paying your dues kind of thing. And you got to be willing to do that. And, I'm glad I did it at a time when I didn't have a family, one time when I didn't, have a whole lot holding me back, didn't have a day job holding me back. But people got to figure it out, man.
Yeah, I just abandoned my family and my I was like, this is the thing. But no, I mean they were cool for the most part. Like I said, they weren't little kids. And once they hit the teenage years and stuff like that, they want to hang with you, but it's on their terms.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, as long as and it's crazy because like before I started doing comedy, I feel like, you ever see the movie Click?
Not exactly, but it's Adam Sandler as a remote control.
Yeah, right.
His life.
Right. Yeah, he can pause his life, but what happened was he would like fast forward through the parts he didn't want to deal with. So then the remote messed up. So then it would just fast forward through like major parts. So like if he had an argument or whatever, or if he got sick, it would fast forward through the whole thing. And then he was sick for like 15 years. And so it fast forward through all of that part of his life. And so he was just like on autopilot. And that's how I felt. Like before I started doing comedy, like I never used a calendar. Like I've been doing the same job. I've been at my same job since 2008.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, 2011.
All right.
But before I started doing comedy, so I was like, I work, the same shift, and I've been promoted a few times or whatever, but I know my shifts. I come to work, I go home, and I was like either doing stuff with the kids, with the family, or I was playing video games or whatever. But for the most part, my life was set. It could have been the same thing every day until I died. And then I started doing comedy, and literally every day is different. And if it's not in my calendar, then it doesn't exist.
Nice.
Like I got to schedule time, to be like, all right, I'm free this day. All right, I'm doing this day. Yeah. So I won't book anything else, but I gotta be, and that's, like I said, it's a purpose. And I love doing comedy. And sometimes I hate that I love doing comedy because I will just like, I'll be like, oh man, I got to do this show or I got to do this set. So I can't do this other thing. And I'm like, you got to find that balance, you do have to find that.
Well, I mean, look, it's good to be busy. It's good to be driven because there's going to be a point, when you're successful, everyone's looking for you and everyone wants you. And until then, you got to make the work yourself. Because it's, you get some offers, but most of the time, I always tell people that too, come out of comedy. It's like, you can be great, but, your phone's probably not going to ring. You're going to have to reach out to people and go, I want to do this thing. I want to do this. You got a spot for me on this thing. Put yourself out there. They're going to say no. But, when you say no, saying no isn't you suck. I think a lot of comics think no means you suck. And that's, festivals, that kind of thing. Comics like that rejection is, I'm not funny, but it's really just, a lot of times it's just a scheduling thing.
Right.
Most of the time.
And it's like I said, it's a lot of like with the festival stuff. And then like it's wild to me, like how people feel about certain shows where it's like, this is an open mic. Nobody's getting paid. It's 2 hours from where you live. Why? You shouldn't care about, or just show up. Sometimes people drop, then you can just get on,
right?
Or at least meet the people, but, like you said, man, if it was something else I could do to process all the stuff, because I think that's always been my thing. Like I just kind of always found, like what's funny about this thing, whether it was like, it wasn't intentional. Like I wasn't the class clown dude. I'm a quiet person.
Yeah. I think that's the best comics. I was like that. I wasn't the class clown either. Like I was funny amongst my friends.
Right.
But if you didn't know me, you wouldn't know I was a funny person. You wouldn't know I was always thinking funny stuff. I just wasn't always saying it.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And that's, so that's why, like, because people used to tell me, like, oh, well, you should try this. But one, I didn't know, like, I grew up not far from the Comedy Castle. I grew up like 3 miles from the Comedy Castle, but I'd never heard of it. I'd never gone, I don't go to bars because I don't really drink. But even if I did, I'm cheap. So I'm like, I'm not going to no bar. I'll buy a bottle and drink it with friends or whatever. And then I used to go to comedy events, but it would be like, such and such is at the Palace or
Yeah.
at the Fox or something like that. Now, like with House of Comedy being across the street from the Fox, I might have found it, that
Right.
way.
Yeah.
And then been like, oh, I could go to this place. And then you meet people and then you hear about
Right.
all the other ones. But it's weird.
Comedy feels really unattainable if you just watch people at the Fox. You just watch people on Netflix. You go to, Little Caesars Arena to see Shane Gillis or something. That's going to feel really unattainable. I think the thing that I had never, the only comedy show I had seen before I went to the open mic that I eventually performed at, which was Club Bart. I went to Andrew Dice Clay at the Palace of Auburn Hills. And I think I might have still been in high school or just out of high school when he did that. And I had never seen live comedy ever. And I had the idea that I would do it. And then I found this open mic at Club Bart they did a Detroit News profile of this open mic, right? And it seemed like I could do it. Like when I read that thing, I went like, I think I can do this. And if it wasn't for finding this place for newcomers, I would have been way too intimidated to ever try it.
Right.
You got to find those places.
Yeah. And that's what I think that's like why I did comedy is because it was like it was an outlet for all of the other, whatever I had going on. It's like, you think about this stuff that at work or having kids and, it's like, man, certain stuff you can't tell them even if you want to, or they going to take them away from you and stuff like that. So it's like, you tell it to strangers and then you find out what's relatable through the laughter, and then you just do the work.
All right. So in this journey that you've been on, comedy, getting out there, what's the coolest gig you did? Most exciting thing, funnest thing? What were you never thought you'd do, but you got a chance to do this?
I mean, not like in a pandering way, but like headlining at the Castle.
Well, sure.
Yeah. And then like headlining at the Showcase last year. Like those were big things, especially the Showcase, because I got the Showcase. Roger the Booker just texted me like, "Hey, are you free this day or this weekend to headline?" And I just said yes. I didn't even look at my calendar or anything. And I was like, yeah, because if I had anything else, I was gonna cancel it. Yeah. But I didn't. And so then I got that. But then I found out that I got it because another comic who I had only worked with once or twice, maybe doing 10 minutes. Like they'd never seen me headline or anything, but they recommended me to Roger. So like that was like a big thing for me. Like, like that was like proof. Like, all right, it's the work that's doing. It's not like, oh, this is my buddy that reached out or anything like that. Like,
and so it's always I tell people when you want to get a headlining gig, it's not, you gotta go be an opening act in these places and be funny. Yeah. That's gonna help you more than some tape you made or you did some headline gig in the middle of nowhere and you recorded it and you packed it with, it doesn't. It's not the same thing. People want to know who you are, and because I don't think the club worries anywhere near as much as the comedians do about how long you're going to do.
Right.
That's the thing that I think is strictly in a comedian's mind. That oh my God, what if I can't do 20 minutes as the feature? What if I can't do 45 minutes as the headliner? Yeah. The club ain't really worried about that.
Right.
I mean,
and especially really like as much as I go and just watch shows and stuff, it's like y'all be ready to go anyway. So it's like you gotta, and then whoever's the headliner, they'll make up whatever time. But that's what I tell people, and that's why I was kind of like, I'm always giving it, but that's how I know all of these people. Because if they got a bit where it's like, oh, okay, what if you try this? Or, I can give them a tag or something like that. And that's, that's any level, from, all the way up to Josh to, some dude that just tried it today. If it's and I'm an easy laugher. Because I'll laugh at anything. Because I'm usually just trying to understand, like, okay, where were they trying to go with this joke, or is it, because sometimes it is just people just saying the most messed up thing they can into a microphone because they think, that's what comedy is. But it's like, all right, where were they going with it? And then when I see people and then they actually, whether it's something I told them or they're just trying it on their own, when you see them again and it's like, okay, they are a little better. Ooh, they tried it a different way
Yeah.
or something like that. Then it's like, okay, I can tell they care.
Yeah.
So then if I can help a little bit, you know, and like I said, I took your class in 2019, and that's usually when I tell people, like, that's when I started. I've done a few mics before that, but right after your class, that's when I started going super hard and editing better and, you know, recording everything and doing all of that. And then, you know, for like that 8 months until the pandemic shut everything down, I was like living it. And I was like, oh, okay, now I'm getting, the dive bar work and I'm on the flyer to close out the show or, be the featured comic or whatever. And, but that's how you build for the most part. And if and then now with social media, it is easy. It's easier. It's less, what do they call them? Gatekeepers and stuff like that. Because you can pop off on social media and then blow up that way.
Yeah.
But you still got to be able to do the time.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, you guys might not care if you can't do the whole 45, but you're also not going to pay somebody to come and do 20 if they're supposed to do 45.
Yeah. But ultimately you want the audience to go home happy with whatever they, whoever, whether they knew the comic or not going into it. You ultimately want to just go, let's send these people home happy. And, I think audiences are not happy if they're staying longer than they think they were going to stay. That really will actually piss people off. Yes. I know no comedian that's been in it for less than 3 years probably understands that point.
Right.
They want to give you, man, we're going to do a 3-hour show. And this thing is going to be legendary. We're going to be talking about this show in 10 years. Look at this lineup. It's jacked.
Right. It's and all of these people. We got 12 comics doing 20 minutes each. And it's like, holy shit, I want to go first and then I'm going home.
Yeah. The audience wants to have a good time.
Yeah.
They want to go home. I say that too in my class. Every audience wants the same thing. They all want to go home eventually.
Right.
So just give them good stuff. Give them the good stuff.
Like I said, that's what one of the things when I like taking the class, it's like people don't understand, you don't want to do a mic. You don't want to do a show where you're giving 10 or 15 minutes to these brand new people.
Yeah.
That can't let them do 4.
Yeah.
And, and that's why Paul, people give Paul a lot of shit for New Way and how he runs it. But I'm like, Paul's trying to keep the show entertaining, trying to keep as many people attentive in the crowd so that, he'll put up a few people and it's like, yeah, you might be new, but if you're doing good, he'll let you go.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing good, he gonna pull you. But, I did it out when I first started out. And that's why, like I said, that first year or whatever, when I done comedy in 2018, most of it was at New Way because that was the one I knew. It was pretty close.
Easy to get out.
I've been there till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And gotten up last with 3 people. Had to follow Noah after he killed doing what Noah does. And then I come up with my, hey, y'all got kids? Or, and it's 3 people in there who hate everybody, But you figure out, how do you follow these different types of, acts or, even if they're similar, how can you differentiate from what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then you get that reputation, and people will always remember that Ryan Brown that night, or he needs to go on last. He needs to go here. Oh, we got all these people available. Well, let's put, and you make that reputation for yourself. You've definitely done that. So headlining the Comedy Castle. It's coming up.
Yeah.
August
14th.
Should be a great time. Everybody come on out. Support Ryan on a Thursday night.
Yep.
It's always fun. Usually Thursdays are good. Get some good comic support. We're gonna get the comics out for you. So
hopefully.
Good.
And then I've been passing out flyers and stuff. So that's why I was trying to get on the mic this week so I could do that one more time. But I did when I closed out the contest the last week, I had 80 flyers and people took them on. So hopefully
there you go.
Some of those people show up.
Well, it makes me proud to see my students headline in that club.
Yeah, man.
That makes me proud. And I know it's a big deal. And even if it's going to be great. and you're going to say, hey, you only get to be your first time one time.
Right.
So the next time you do it, it'll be a little more routine. And then after that, it'll just be like, oh, I'm doing this again. Okay. This is nice. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully, like y'all say, you get them on the way up and on the way down. So hopefully this ain't the peak for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is just the beginning.
Listen, I had a nice talk with Mark Ridley over the weekend, and he's sticking to everything. At Comedy Castle's not going anywhere. Yeah, he's trying to really put the best people in there. So when you crack that headline thing, I don't care about holidays, dream cruises, or nothing. When you crack that headline, that's a big deal. Yeah. You got to do it.
Well, yeah, I appreciate the spot. I'm trying to come in and light it up.
You're going to do good, man. I always talk about you. Every single comedy class I've taught since you've been through there has mentioned your name.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Ryan Brown. That's the guy that works the hardest. That's all the shows. That's all the shows.
Yeah, I'm doing all of them. No show too big, no pay too low. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be there.
Well, dude, thanks for talking to me. This is great, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling, man.
Great luck on the show, man. I hope it's amazing. Hope everybody comes out. You come out for Ryan.
Yeah, come out and check it out, man.
ComedyCastle.com has your tickets. Thanks, Ryan. We got to shout out social media, anything like that before we go?
Yeah, it's Brown Ryan Comedy on everything. Venmo, Cash App, OnlyFans, all of that.
Ryan Comedy.
Brown Ryan Comedy.
That's
because somebody had Ryan Brown Comedy and they had one follower. So I was like, it's got to be universal. And they beat me to it.
All right, Ryan.
Brown Ryan Comedy it is.
We'll see you next week, bud.
All right, Joe.
Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the other end of my line, I've got this Friday night's headliner coming up for one night. It's Camila Ballario. How you doing, Camila?
Joel, thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. I don't know if you did the show. We've never talked, but maybe you talked to Tom McCarthy. Did you do that?
I did. I talked to Tom. This must have been years ago.
Years and years ago. Well, things have changed for you.
Thank you for having me back. Yeah, lots changed. I've changed. I'm a different person now.
You've changed, but comedy, that trajectory, has just gone up and up.
Well, yeah, I would kind of. I guess so.
I think so.
I guess it appears that way.
From my point of view.
Certainly from your point of view, Joel. Yep, you saw me at ground zero.
Well, I don't know about ground zero. You were pretty good when I saw you. But
thank you. Keep those coming.
But
Joel.
I think me and not a whole lot of other people felt that way about you, and now everyone does. It wasn't that people didn't like you, but people didn't know of you.
That's possible.
I knew of you early on.
Yeah, I know. I'm really lucky that I got to meet you early on
it was
at
great.
Ridley's.
Well, I talk about the class. I talked a lot about the class with Ryan and that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think people see a young woman who's attractive, who plays a musical instrument and sings on stage, and they're going to be skeptical. That's how I think early in your career, that was something that you had to overcome a little bit.
Yeah, potentially. I think luckily for me, when I was starting out, I was kind of naive to the overall, I guess, like thought on not just because I think maybe also because you've known me since the beginning, like I'm not just a musical comic. Like I'm not, it's not like your traditional musical comedy. I'm doing comedy probably 20% of my sets. So it's not really, and even now as more kind of evolves, I don't really even bring my guitar with me unless I'm headlining, unless I have a really big chunk of time, because I've found that it doesn't really fit into the smaller aesthetic as well. So, but yeah, lots changed since it started. And I'm glad that I started a little naive to it and I didn't judge myself for it. I just kind of did it because it's also a part of who I am, is writing music and performing. So,
well, people are I think people were skeptical that, okay, she can sing and play that guitar, but she's not funny. And I was kind of like, oh no, she's super funny. Like that's always, I know like Jay Chris Newberg and I started at the same time and he went through all of that.
Yeah.
Where he had to prove like, I don't need this guitar. Watch this. And
Yeah.
now it's like a thing that he pulls out and people go, oh, this is different. This is, like it's
Yeah.
more of an add-on than the default for him.
Yeah, well, I think
at this
like
point.
most people will discount just about. I think comedy's like that. You'll discount someone until you see
Mhm.
the hard work
Yeah,
and you
see it.
see them day in and day out doing it. You do it
Right.
long enough, it's like you become someone that people can't really say that about,
Yeah.
because if you're working hard and you're going on stage, you're getting booked, you're getting hired, and you keep getting better, then that's just how you do it. So
Mhm. And
not
then,
listening to the noise.
well, let's talk about what you were doing pre-comedy, before comedy.
Yeah.
You are, let's see. Well, tell us when you started. Tell us how old you were. Where were you in life?
I've been doing comedy a little over 8 years now, and probably actually, what month are we in? Probably coming up on a little over 8 years.
Yeah.
I started at Ridley's. Before doing comedy, I was always writing joke premises, and I come from the background of classical music. That's what I actually got my undergraduate degree in, and I've been singing and songwriting kind of like folk Americana music my whole life. Performing, I did musical theater my whole life, straight theater my whole life. So I've just been a person who really loves the stage, and not just being on stage, which yes, I love being on stage. I prefer that. But I also enjoy like everything that goes into stage work, and like
Yeah.
the people behind the stage, and just that overall feel.
You're a show person. That's what they
I
call it in the
am.
business.
I like the stage.
I'm a show person too. Yeah, I like working behind the scenes as much as I like working on stage.
Yeah, and I
like
can't
being
wait
part of the
until one
show.
day I can do more things with like theater and things like that. I hope that that's something that I can return to,
Right.
because most of my time now, since, and I used to, before comedy, I would do music gigs. Like that was
Yeah.
primarily
I
what I was
remember you
doing
doing that
when I met
was
you.
teaching you. Yeah, it'd be like Ann Arbor Art Fair and Camilla's
Yep.
performing. Oh,
Yep,
just
exactly.
Straight music gig. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I was writing music, and I had recorded a full album, and but the problem for me with that would be like, you're getting paid to sing for 3 hours, and you probably get 2 minutes of anyone's direct attention at any given time.
Right.
For me, that just wasn't going to cut it. I'm like, God, my whole life is dedicated to this, and nobody's even listening.
Yeah, they're
And that's what I like about comedy.
Yeah, it's not a strolling audience comedy.
No, it's not.
They're sitting down.
They're sitting down. They're
drink in
focused. They're
front
there
of
to
them,
laugh.
yeah. And you've done that. You've done that successfully. Talking
I
about your
really
life
love
the
it.
whole time. I like that too about you.
Yeah,
And I
life,
think
life is crazy how it throws you around like that. But I think the stage, the like commonality is the performance aspect. I just have always felt home doing that.
And then was it just the beginner class at the club, or did you do a mic or something?
Yeah.
College
so, like,
performances, anything like that?
No, I really honestly wish I had any idea that there was even like a stand-up club or anything like that at University of Michigan, where I went to undergrad.
Yeah.
I had no idea or awareness. I didn't know anyone who did it. I would go to the comedy showcase in Ann Arbor very often, like weekly, and I would see shows there, but I never, I always thought like, God, like, this is something that I could do, but I never took it seriously.
You must have never went to the open mic at the showcase.
No, actually, that's not true. One of my friends
you?
actually did it once,
Really?
and I went to watch him. So I watched it, but I didn't even, and it's not even something I considered doing on my own.
Because I think someone like you would see, because that's how I felt. Like I was telling Ryan Brown, I had been to one comedy show before I ever did it. Well, I'd been to two because I went to the open mic that I ultimately performed at. But going to like an open mic was like, oh, I'll be better than 3/4 of these people the first time I do it. And I don't think that worked out, but eventually it did. I was pretty confident. That made me confident seeing people like struggle. I was like, oh, I could do that. Or I could just struggle, and that's okay too. This is the place to do it.
Yeah, like I've always just been a huge comedy fan, and just a person that and I still think of it this way. Like, I don't like to compare myself to other people. I find that to be like a total a recipe for disaster for me. I don't like to be competitive even with my peers, because their success doesn't mean my failure. And like, I think honestly, I fell into comedy. It was never like a decision, oh, this is what I have to do. It was more like, people are asking me to officiate their wedding because they want me to, be funny, or
Yeah.
like enough people have asked me, like I would do the speeches at events and people are asking me to speak at their weddings. And clearly I'm a comedic writer.
Yeah.
And it became obvious to me after I had such a long list of joke premises that I was like, you know what? I'm been building up to this. I need to just like try it and see if I enjoy it, because it kind of is where I'm at. It's just kind of like what I need to do next. And that's what I never expected anything out of it. I never thought I would turn it into such a big career for me, but it's kind of just what's happened.
It consumes a lot of your life.
It sure does.
When you get into it, and the successful people, it does.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, because we know people. I knew people when I came up, and I'm sure you know now. We're like, boy, this person would really be successful if they did it more. But then people have lives. People have families and jobs that they're like, I'd love to do this, but
and I think like comedy is one of those things that you can get this idea in your head that you have to do it, or that like if you quit, you're a failure. And it's like, nobody needs you to do this. Like nobody is dying for you to get on stage. So like if you're not enjoying it, or you're enjoying doing something else more, then like give yourself the freedom to walk away from something that's not right for you. I'm only doing this because I feel this like this pull toward it. Like I just have to keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, then now you're doing it. And but let's talk about in the beginning then, or not early on. When did you feel like, okay, I got this? Did you ever have that feeling? Did somebody throw you a compliment at some point? Did somebody just pull you aside, one of the club bookers or somebody, and just go, look, you got to keep doing this?
I really wish more people would. Honestly, I think like somebody had actually, I think when I did a TED talk in Detroit, I wrote about this.
Yeah.
Because once, I think 5 years into doing comedy, I think I was in my 30s already, and some guy took me aside and goes, "You got a bright future, kid. Keep doing this." And I'm like, "You're looking right at my bright future. I think I'm a little older than you think I am." I think I've like been very blessed to have a very strong work ethic backed by, immigrant parents that are that's just how I was raised,
I agree. I had that too.
Yeah. Okay. So you get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, my dad was like a super like workaholic as a kid.
Yeah.
Now I was definitely that in my early comedy career, where it was just if I had any free time, I was going to a show.
Exactly. Like doing something half. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Am I allowed to swear?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Give him a preview of the show.
Oh, you might hear me say something like half-assed.
Yeah.
Doing something half-assed is not really an option for me, which is why I have to be very thoughtful about the shows I take now, especially now that I'm a mom. It's like I can't just take a 5-minute set 2 hours away, 4-hour drive round trip on a Tuesday anymore. Like I have to be very intentional about where I'm spending my energy, and where I'm going to try new jokes versus where I'm going to have like a polished set, and being very methodical about how I go about it. Do I wish I could do it every single day? Sure, of course.
Yeah.
But
you get to the point when that time that you put into it without the family, without the child, without the family, that pays off now though, because you did that work. You put that work in. And that's always, that will never go away. And now you can be, the reward of doing all that work is to be a little selective, to take gigs like headlining at Ridley's, and not that shitty gig that doesn't really pay very much.
And, I'm really honestly happy to take that shitty gig still. I really honestly am. Honestly, sometimes those shitty gigs are the ones that bring you the most joy. It's like the audience that's going to remind you why you do comedy.
Right.
I want to, like sometimes you go up and host at Ridley's and you're like, okay, where do I kill myself after this? Where can I go to, Like, I think it all depends on the vibe, but hopefully on a night where I'm headlining, it's going to be like when I recorded my special and it was just a room of love and just people that want you to succeed and things like that.
That opening spot at Ridley's, which is for a lot of people, the
brutal,
but it's also for, if you're an open micer, that's the dream. That's the
Yeah, sure.
dream is like, I'm going to open at Ridley's and I'm going to work in front of some person you've seen on television or, have been a
Yeah.
fan of.
I mean, I would love that gig. Give me an opening spot
And
at Ridley's in front of someone on
Well,
TV.
I don't know. I feel like you've worked with some quality headliners in your time, but sometimes that is not a great gig because, this famous person, people are waiting for them. And
Yeah,
you're
a few
not that
times.
thing, you're not them, and therefore it doesn't work. Sometimes it's more fun to open for a complete unknown because people are just there to laugh.
Yeah. I feel like, actually, interestingly enough, at Ridley's, I've been booked a couple times with big names.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Michelle Wolf was supposed to be at Ridley's, but once I was booked through Ridley's to work with. No, it was at Ridley's.
Yeah, Michelle Wolf did Ridley's. Were you on that show? Yeah,
but like most shows with large headliners, usually last minute, they're like, oh, no, I brought my own people.
Yeah. Oh.
And so that's been what's happened. Unfortunately, that's what's happened to me a few times at Ridley's.
Yeah, that can happen.
That's
a headliner thing, and that's new. Yeah, they more headliners are bringing features with them now.
Yep.
And that's harder to crack that lineup.
Yeah. Little country bumpkins like me from Detroit are getting kicked off those shows.
Well, you can start bringing your headline, or you could just work with the local people. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
like
what these people have in their heads.
You never quite know. I mean, I get it. If you're on the road 24/7, you want a little taste of familiarity. I get bringing your own people for some form of like control over the outcome. But I also feel like, God, if I was Michelle Wolf, your show is going to be great and people are it's going to sell out. Just let somebody else's dreams come true for a day. I don't know. But it's a tough call. I get it.
I think some headliners, seeing it from sort of my position at the club where, I'm not on the show, but I'm in the green room and I'm kind of seeing the dynamic is I think some headliners just don't want some open micer staring at them.
Sure.
They just don't want that fawning, the person.
And I like to stare, Joel, so I get it.
I would never accuse you of that. But, like that person that's just, the guy that works with them every week or the girl works with them every week, that person isn't going to make it weird. And I think there are openers that have definitely made it weird. Maybe I even made it weird as a young guy. I don't really know. I don't know.
No, I mean, I feel like you just get excited around someone that you've been, especially someone like Michelle Wolf. Right. Yeah, I don't know what I would have done with my hands. It's probably good. Amazing. It's probably for the best.
Lewis Black told me I was funny 2 years in.
Oh yeah, and
Lewis Black told me I was funny, and that was it. It was like I got to just do this forever. And that's why you're still doing it. Yeah, it's still on my resume. If you want to hire me for a gig, Lewis Black said I was funny in 2001.
Yeah, I mean, it was like right after I had my baby last year, 4 months after. I remember probably the best moment of my life so far in comedy has been when Nikki Glaser messaged me on Instagram and said, "Hey, you want to open for me this Friday?" And I was like, "Hi, Nikki." It was just like probably just this moment of like all my hard work came up to this moment. Thank God for this moment, and for her to shout me out on her podcast and all that stuff after too was just like, just epic moment for me. I'm like, will I ever top that? I don't know.
Where'd you work with Nikki Glaser? Tell us.
At Caesars in Windsor.
Oh, well, that's a great room. I've seen shows in there.
Sold out. Yeah, it was like 5,500 people.
Yeah, that's a crazy room. It's like if you've never been in that room, it's almost like they took like an arena and you're just kind of at the end of it or something.
Yeah, and
it's
I
like
remember
this wall of seats. It's like a big floor, and then there's just like a wall of.
And it's kind of like seats. Oddly cozy because the sound system is so good.
Yeah, it's
like,
a great venue.
Every famous musician who's ever lived has performed there. It's just a beautiful venue.
Right.
Yeah, it was very honestly like a very special because it was just me and her. It was a really, really special moment in time.
That's great. And she just found you on Instagram, or did somebody say, "Hey, by the way"?
A comedian that I know that lives in LA recommended some comics from Detroit, and I was in that list, and then she picked me. She reached out.
Went and watched your clip. Wonder what clip got you.
Yeah, I guess she went to my Instagram.
Went and watched it.
Yeah, who knows?
If you use your Instagram and it's you being funny instead of complaining about a sandwich you bought or something, maybe that got you the gig. Who knows? I don't know what people do.
Yeah,
on
I
their
don't know.
Instagram.
We never know what works on that thing. It's just, I guess what we do know is to be on it longer is better. And I'm like, oh, I don't have time to post as much as I should.
Well, that's
But
great.
that's
And
life.
now, so let's talk about you headlining. All right. So this is a new thing. Not a new thing, but it's a new thing at Ridley's. But you've had experience. You've recorded a special. Tell everybody about that, getting into that. Because for a comedian, a lot of people never do that. They never headline. They never make a special.
Yeah. I think like it was so, yeah, right. I recorded a special in 2023. It came out.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like for me and for a lot of comedians, I think like a special depicts this kind of chapter in your life. And for me, it was like closing this chapter of the young Camila who started comedy, who then now is getting married. And I'm closing that chapter and I'm becoming the next iteration of myself. So I wanted to, and like, you know, I had been working on this hour for, I mean, over 5 years since I started really doing comedy, but really the bulk of 5 years, 4 years into building it. And I knew I don't know, people will say new comedians really shouldn't do a special. And it's like, well, no, I really want to commemorate this moment of time and all the hard work. And I want to graduate some of these out of my, lineup.
Right.
And I want to commemorate it and move on and start writing a new hour.
Yeah.
And I don't have this pressure that a lot of, real touring comedians have to graduate it and move on, write new hour, start touring new hour. Like that's not what I'm doing. So some of my older bits are still working into some of my, headline gigs and all that good stuff because a lot of people haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, why throw it away? Jokes are hard to write.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're still changing and growing as I am. But yeah, now I'm in a totally different life place. And my next special is probably going to solely be about my husband, Gary, because it seems he's the only person I want to roast nowadays.
Well, that's great, man. That's what people, but that is very relatable. Husbands, children, all that stuff. If you're writing about that, well, that's who's going to be at your show. I think, and I think about my act. I'm married now, but my act about being single and trying to date all these weirdos and all kind of stuff like that. Like that's not most of the audience, that's not
the old you, Joel.
Well, I guess it is. I guess it is.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know.
I mean, I started doing comedy in my mid-20s years before I met my husband.
Yeah.
And now I'm married and I have a kid and we're definitely not in our 20s anymore. Life changes and so does the comedy. And yeah, like I really am excited to have that special and to always remember it. And I'm excited that I'm starting to write my new hour.
Terrific. Well, I got one joke about my wife, and I don't think she would like it very much. So,
my husband listens to all my jokes, and he approves of them all. He's a good sport.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to write something that she will like, or that I
think it is harder to roast your wife than it is for me to roast my husband for whatever reason.
I mean, the audience likes the joke.
Well, then keep telling it, Joel. You know what?
She's
married
it,
you.
But it's not, it is. I got to figure that part out.
He's contractually obligated here. So just, you keep telling that joke.
Yeah. Well, what it is here's where I'm at. You tell me if you went through this. You've been married longer than me. You can still do the stuff about being a weird single person and having bad dates. And then you can introduce, but that's all behind me now because I got married, and then segue to marriage material. That might work.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's all about the narrative. It's all about the narrative, Joel.
Yeah, you take them on a journey. You go, this was me then, this is me now. Because I think comics can age out of a material too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like tons of comics that are like, I have a baby, and their babies are like 18 years old. But who's going to tell you?
My kid went pee-pee in the potty today.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Your kid's 18.
Yeah, kid's here at the show.
He drove you to the show, that kid.
Yeah.
Well, one day you'll have that. One day you'll have that.
I'll have a permanent DD one day for sure.
Absolutely. Why not? All successful. It's happening. You're one of those.
Yeah.
You're one of those. Is there a thing? Have you put your foot down and said, nah, I like my life here in Michigan. I'm not looking to. I'm not looking for the coast. I'm not looking. And I don't think you need the coast. Now, if I was going to give a comic advice, I go, L.A. and New York is great. Maybe when you're where you're at in life, you don't go. But, just that whole, what is the next step for you? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, of course I have. I'm not someone who's going to say I won't move because I would be willing. And my husband and I both love California.
Yeah.
I do think like it would have to be, I'm not someone who's going to now at this point move there without a plan.
Yeah.
I would have to, because I believe that I can be successful from where I'm at, despite that it might be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But if I keep doing festivals one day and I keep performing and I become more undeniable and I continue to write, like the thing is like people can hope and they wish, but it's like, are you writing? How much are you writing? And like, and how are your jokes improving over time? Like over time, something has to come from this hard work because you're laying a brick every day. And so that's my thought process is I'm willing to move, but it has to be for the right reason.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to have to say, I need you to move to LA for X, Y, or Z opportunity. And this is why. And my family has no issue with that. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to move away from the grandparents. My kids are, here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
you move because they want you, not because you want to.
Exactly. And I'm just like not in the position of being comfortable gambling with my children's safety and livelihood.
That's not smart.
Just for something that I can do, I think, from here for now.
When you're 21, 25, you can do that. Because what's the loss? Exactly. You go out to LA, you have fun. Oh, you didn't make it. Okay, you come back home.
I do want to go to LA more often. I want to do more shows out there, but I don't think I necessarily have to relocate my family.
I don't think you do
at this point.
I got ideas for your next step. I don't know if you want me to tell them.
Yeah, tell me.
Want to hear them on the show? Here's what I see you doing. Like, okay, you could go to LA. Look, you're super talented. You could, if they were going to make more late night shows, I could see you doing that. I could see you doing that.
Thank you. I could see that too.
But I don't think they're making those shows. So.
I know. They keep getting canceled, don't they?
But here's where I see realistic for you. Here's realistic stuff. Camila, Michigan Comedy Zone, Camila Ballario. I can see you, in addition, festivals. That's great. But I also see you doing like that dry bar thing, like that sort of, here's a show that, maybe people that aren't super savvy comedy people would see and really latch onto.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that?
A clean comic. I hear you. Yeah,
I know, but it's not even necessarily the dry bar thing, but it's also sort of like
small form.
Here is something that's not Netflix, but it's something that will get you into the clubs, get you open more doors as a headliner for you, where it's like, I saw her on, where, when you're a comedian that the wife says to the husband, I want to go see this. Yeah. That's success right there.
For sure.
Because I don't think that's and that's a hard thing to get. But I think you're that type of comic that will get that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Joel. I think like that realistically is probably my next step is finding a way to book a tour, a club tour or just a small venue tour, and start doing more touring now that I'm a little bit more established. I've been doing that in the form of festivals, but I think now it makes a bit more sense to see how I can amplify that.
Like I see
longer sets.
I see Grant, he's doing like more, he's done television, but like the career that like Dave Landau has right now.
Oh yeah. He's killing it with going to Dallas. And,
Well, there's that. And then there's the Lexington Village Theater. And he's hitting that every summer. That's you.
Yeah.
You could do that stuff standing on your head. You're that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Joel. I love Dave Landau.
Dave Landau's great.
The comparison.
And Dave, you could say, oh, geez, why is Dave not taking bigger swings at stuff? He's super successful. Like
he's doing great in his own right.
You know what I mean? So like that kind of stuff for you, that's right there. That's 5 years or less for you.
Yeah, I just want to be, I'm in this point now where I want to be very like intentional about everything that I do.
Right.
Because I don't have time or bandwidth to not be intentional anymore.
Yeah.
I can't just mess around anymore.
Mhm.
But I want to make sure, for me, I don't think that I'll even allow myself to feel like I can earn it unless I'm continuing to write new
Yeah.
material and build this new hour. And then once I have a new body that I want to, tour around, then like that'll be the next thing. I absolutely am going to have to take it on the road and make it bigger than I made my last hour.
Well, it's going to be great. You're starting here at the castle. They're getting a
Yep, I
taste.
sure am.
Make that part of
We'll get a
the
little
make
taste
that
of
an
some of that
annual.
new-
Make it an annual
Yep.
stop for you. Maybe.
Oh, I would love that. Joel, put that in the universe. I would
Well,
love
that's
that.
that ain't up to me, but whoever it's up to might
can pray
listen
together.
to this though. So there
We
you
can
go.
pray together.
And I think you know what else you'd be great on, and again,
Oh,
not
what?
unlike late night. And again, maybe you were born at the wrong time, but we would crush it on morning radio.
Okay, so
Crush it, morning
radio. So the month before I had my baby, they asked me to co-host on WDET Channel 4 morning news.
Oh, okay, yeah, that thing.
It was a TV morning show for 5 days straight, and it was. I mean, I can't even tell you how much that was my element because I was able to do kind of like impromptu joke writing, or they would tell me what I would be talking about. I would already start kind of storyboarding where I would go with it. It was such a fun kind of like blend of all the things I love doing. So yeah, I think like radio, and I will say this, in my next chapter, which is starting probably now, I will probably do, and I don't care. Nobody needs to listen to this. This is mostly for me, but I will be doing a podcast. So
yeah, there you go.
Build that out.
There you go.
Build that out, and
I applaud the podcast idea.
Thank you. I appreciate the real vintage applause that you just gave.
No, well, yeah, absolutely. You don't want
that was real.
You don't want the canned
hand
stuff.
To hand.
You don't want the because I've got that too. If you want some.
No, I like the hand to hand.
That was the real stuff. There you go. But yeah, you podcast because people say podcast now, and people roll their eyes like, oh fuck, another person. But
I don't even care. I hate haters.
Comedians, as someone who, long story, but the original comedian podcaster, which is what I am. 2005, you can look it up before anybody. You had a podcast. But here's the thing. It helps you. It's such a great creative outlet for stuff.
Exactly.
It's such a great creative outlet. And it's so easy to just, I got this thing and I want to talk about it. We'll see if it's funny. And you do it on there. And hopefully if you got somebody sitting with you doing it, they're going to laugh. You'll get good feedback. Then you'll try that thing at the club. And it all comes together. And then people get to know about you and they know about your life. And then it gets kind of parasocial where people become your friend, but they don't really know you. And then
this has helped me in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like Instagram has sort of done this. And during the pandemic, I wish I'd gone even further because there's been people like in the pandemic that blew up, like Heather McMahon.
Sure. Yeah.
And I regret not going balls to the wall like Heather McMahon did because I could have been that high of caliber, and I just didn't have guidance. Like I didn't know what I didn't know, but I do feel like people want to know you on a personal level.
Yeah. It definitely helps the appeal of the show, because people might even like from outside go like, oh, this comic's so big now. And you're like, I've never heard of him. And you watch 5 minutes and you don't really get it. And then you don't realize like there's a podcast where they're talking about their life, or there's these reels or these TikToks where they're just going about their day. And that's funny too. And it really brings people in.
Oh yeah. I mean, the people who, like, I remember I featured for Ryan Sickler, like I want to say at this point, it was like 5 years ago, maybe 4. No, it was probably 3 or 4. Yeah. But he sold out every single show, and every single person in the audience really had never seen him do stand-up before, but they all follow his podcast. Yeah. The Honeydew. So and they all lined up to get merch after. Like his podcast is his brand, and his stand-up was really secondary. I think they were all just wanting to support his stand-up.
Yeah. I see that we see that all the time at the castle, and I interview all those people on this show, and they're all the one almost universally when I go, well, tell us about, getting what TikTok made you, and they're like, I just kept putting them up, and one day that's the one that everyone
Yeah, it's crazy.
some random
it pops. Yeah,
thing just popped.
I know. I
Amazing.
always tell myself like I just need to have a podcast and have like my friends like Dave Dyer
There you
and Tim
go.
Finkel come and just talk
Absolutely.
to me because I could talk to them for hours about nothing and we just laugh. I just think that will be a great outlet for me, and if I'm enjoying it, then someone else will too.
Yeah.
Just like comedy.
I think you got it figured out in this this coming up show. Anything to tease people with? Why should they come out? Why should they spend their Friday night at Mark Ridley's Comedy
Why wouldn't you?
Castle?
I mean, let's face it. I'm not pregnant anymore. I feel like that in and of itself. I feel like last time I was really hitting the stage at Ridley's, I was like 9 months pregnant, and here we are on the other side of it. And I have new stories to tell, a new perspective on life entirely, a new perspective on my marriage entirely. I don't know if that entices you or scares you, but I'm going to bring my guitar on stage, which honestly, for people that have been coming to my shows, I have people that'll come see me do my sets in like smaller venues. I haven't been bringing my guitar, and they keep asking me, hey, when are you bringing your guitar? Well, Mark Ridley's, when I'm headlining at Ridley's is when I'm going to be bringing that puppy back. So
there you go.
I'll be bringing back all the great tunes and some new ones.
Well, it sounds like a great time. I'm so happy for your success. I'm so happy I could teach you way back in the day and see what you've become.
I'm so happy too. And it's nice to talk to an old friend, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Great talking to you. And you're going to have a great show. I want everybody to go over to comedycast.com, get your tickets. Come see Camila.
Please come see me.
Bring your wife, bring your mom, bring your husband.
Oh yeah,
whatever
and Joel, I made a little bit of merch this time. First time ever.
Camila merch. Anything you want to bounce it off me?
I already bought it.
I don't know. It's okay.
I can't change my mind, Joel, but it's baseball caps.
Oh, yeah. Well, sure. Those are great. That's great. That's great.
You can't say you don't like it because I already spent the money.
Well,
so it's happening.
Caps.
They're denim baseball caps. It's actually pretty cool.
Nice. Thanks, Camila. This is great.
Thank you, Joel. God bless you.
We'll see you at the club.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, Camila. Yeah, that was fun. 2 great interviews. Fun people. They like to talk. I like to talk. Let's do it. Hope it wasn't a cramp in your style, me doing an hour plus here today with these guys, but it was great, guys and girls. Camila's so talented, man. She's scary talented. You watch her and go, what the heck am I even doing? How are we in the same business? She's just that good. So really, I want you to come out, see Camila next week. I want you to see Ryan this week. And, of course, we got great shows this week, too. So don't forget about Ashley Gaff and her Cactus State if you're fans of them. Come on out. We got our open mic night tonight if you're listening to this. And then, next week, Dream Cruise Week, always a little chaotic, but you can find your way there, right? You can find your way. If you're coming from the east side, you don't even have to cross Woodward. You just get right on off of that. You get right off of that. I don't know. Maybe the exit's closed. I don't know. Take 75 to 11 Mile. What is this, the traffic report? No, it's the Comedy Castle podcast. Let's get out of here. First of all, let's thank everybody for listening to this show. We want to thank you. We've been doing this show for years and years here. I don't even know what number show this is, 230-something. And I'm so happy that you guys listen. I had a lot of great feedback on the last show we did. So thanks to those who came, found me at the club and said hi. We also want to thank Mark Ridley, of course, because he's the one who makes this all happen. Keeping the Comedy Castle rolling for over 45 years now. Mark was at the club last weekend having a great time, so it's always great to see him. So shout out to Mark Ridley if you're listening to this. But hey, we got a million great shows in the next couple of weeks. You heard from Ryan. You heard from Camila. Come out to the Comedy Castle. Have some laughs. It's always a great time over there. And I'll see you there, all right? And we'll see you back here next week. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.